Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about how to manage your anger. I used to be a person who used to have and just uh, from time to time have anger. Not totally crazy in anger because generally I was a calm person, but at certain times I just needed to get out that anger. And when something happened, for example, in my life, I would just throw away things, dis- destroy, break things in my room, of course, when I was alone, or with close family members who understood me and tried to comfort me. But over time, I've started to find new ways on how to manage my anger, especially when it exploded in my personal relationship in a really bad way. I mean, in my romantic relationship, when I started living with my fiance, I had really bad anger, a lot of anger, and I think part of this was because I am a human design manifestor, and by reading just learning about the manifestor profile, I noticed that anger is what comes out when manifestors are not living their strategy or they their life according to their way of doing things. Anger is an emotion that manifests. So, my tips on how to manage anger in general for everyone, but especially if you are a manifester and have uh, anger in your life from time to time. So, you need to know that your emotions are your own internal guidance system. And first of all, other people don't need to know about your emotions or just to throw your emotions at them. Your emotions are just for you. So our emotions are like a GPS, I call it, for us. Sometimes we feel good feelings if we are going in a good direction or in a direction according to our own life purpose. We just feel that peace and positive feelings. But if we are not following our life path and our spiritual life direction that was assigned to us, we often explode in anger. But you need to understand that your emotions, whatever they are, including anger, are just like uh, your internal guiding system. They are like your GPS, and they give you information on if you are on the right track. Also, you need to understand that emotions are addictive. Sometimes we engage in a lot of venting and complaining and a lot of emotions, but the more we engage in them and sometimes the more we show them and give attention to them, the more they um, exhibit or show up in our life. I'm not saying that you shouldn't deal with emotions, but also take into consideration the fact that they are addictive. Some people get a real emotional high while complaining, for example, or just gossiping or venting about someone else. So this has happened to all of us, but we need to understand that emotions are addictive and we need to break that cycle. So also understand that everything somebody says that triggers you is about you. Your emotions are internal. It doesn't have to do with them. So you don't need to hot potato them on other people. It shows that you haven't done your inner work. Emotionally controlled and emotionally stable and healthy people don't do that. They don't hot potato their emotions to other people. So don't do this. Instead, do your inner work. Find out in yourself why the thing is bothering you. And in fact, every complaint, if we really think about it, within every complaint there is a desire. For example, you might complain, I don't want this, I don't want, but what is it that you want? And so just don't hot potato your emotions to other people and don't get addicted to complaining and showing emotions and sometimes anger. Sometimes even telling a story of something that happened to us, to our partner, or just a friend, for example, also it brings that anger again in our body. So it becomes a cycle, and the bad thing that happened registers in our mind and in our memory more and more the more we repeat it. So it's part then of our story, and so it's so addicted. Uh, Especially don't hot potato your emotions to your partner to not ruin your relationship, I can say, or just infect it in a way. Because often our partners are the people that we really show sometimes our full emotions, and just being more time with them, and they thinking that they are the person that needs to support us, and we need to just tell everything and show every emotion. But just it's better to just go within yourself and do your inner work to just find out why the thing is making you angry and try to resolve it in a healthy way. Also, we sometimes get angry about uh, a thing that we did time ago or we didn't do time ago. So, my tip is to focus on the now. That turn that you were meant to take 3 years ago, you missed it. Let it go. What do you need to do now? That should be the question. Don't don't be in the past and don't be in the future. Be in the present moment and just think about what you need to do now. Because what is gone, and you can't redo it or take back time or do something different. This is often the reason of people's anger, or when they feel just stuck in a situation and just ready to explode in anger. Instead, think what you need to do now, do your inner work, and maybe find your mentors, talk to your mentors if you need to. Simply resolve those issues and don't be in the past. Also, the third thing that I want to say about in this video and about anger is to just think about it in a spiritual way, because people who trigger you have been placed in your path to show you another way to upgrade yourself. So this is really, really true in my life because a lot of people who would trigger me by the thing that they would say or just triggering people, they have helped me a lot to upgrade myself. So if you are with a new, for example, in your life, colleagues or just maybe family members, in-laws, just people who trigger you and say things that make you just feel that anger and irritate you in some way, know that they have been placed in your life just to upgrade you, to show you another way of upgrading yourself. Um, Sometimes this happens also in our workplace when we are just used to working with some type of colleagues or sometimes some type of boss. When someone new comes and we have to work with them, sometimes it happens that we have to work with people who we were not used to and just they trigger us, but this shows another way to upgrade yourself, just um, learn something on how to manage your emotions and do your inner work. Every trigger that you feel, and we feel them in our bodies, for example in your stomach, in your chest area. But every trigger that you feel is just an opportunity to do your inner work. Find that initial trigger. For example, um, something might have happened to you when you were a child or just years ago, and it shows up again and again every time that topic gets mentioned or that type of person shows up in front of you that triggers you, but just find out that initial trigger, and this helps a lot. People who are in our lives help us to show us another way that we can upgrade ourselves. For example, I used to get triggered a lot, and even now, maybe I said this in another video too, and even now, but in the past a lot, I would get triggered about topics that were related to women. Just someone maybe bringing down a woman or just saying things like women belong in the kitchen, or maybe just men and women are not equal. Men can sleep around. Women not, or and things like that of that nature against that I would feel that well, they were against women, and a lot I had pretty much a lot of triggers related in that area, and I think it's one of the fewer areas because in other areas of life not a lot of things would trigger me, very few. And when my in-laws used to say just something maybe that insinuated that, or something that was maybe even talking between them with each other, the way that they talked to each other, or the way that my father-in-law would talk to his wife, that would trigger me and make me just dislike a lot, irritate me a lot, and totally dislike that person. In fact, both of them, because I also thought, how would she accept that treatment and things like that? I hope that I would never be like her, and just things so triggering. But then later I started to is still a thing in the process, but to understand that to see it this way, that those people have been placed in my life just to show me ways to upgrade myself, to just um, I don't even remember why I have that triggered, but maybe something might have happened to just bring me to that direction. So it just every trigger is an opportunity to just do your inner work, and also maybe see this way, which I also talked about in another video, in that video about being unbothered, but to think that we see the world as we are, not as it is. So our eyes um, are not a camera, they are a projector. So if, for example, other people see me a certain way or think that I should or shouldn't do something, it's all about them. It's not about me. In my internal self, I might be a totally different person to what they perceive about me, but I've also been placed in their lives to trigger them. But I will just continue with my desires, even if they don't approve me. I will continue living my life. So see it this way, that what other people think about you is more about shows more about them than it shows about you. And also this takes away that burden from you, thinking about what's wrong with me, why this person sees me that way. It doesn't have to do with you. Just use every trigger to upgrade yourself and hold your desires in your heart and live your life according to your own desires, not other people's um, expectations, maybe, because we feel anger, in fact, when we feel restricted a lot. But sometimes those restrictions are in our minds, and we're really free to just do whatever we want, as long as there is not a law to just, as not as of course is against the law, but what they think are just their judgments. It's how they see the world, so how they are from within. So simply share your desires for a better life, and other people's emotions or emotional reactions are not your responsibility. Never think that you need to change your life or your behavior just to make them happy. I could say, because those kind of people sometimes would never be happy, even if you just completely change the way you are, or how you dress or you talk or whatever. Hold your desires in your heart and do what you need to do, follow them and do what you need to do, and know that how they react and how they judge and their emotions, they have nothing to do with you and are not your responsibility. So that's all for this video on the topic of anger. I hope you just got maybe a different perspective on this topic. So thank you for watching. Bye.